Shalom, brothers and sisters. Grace, mercy, and peace be unto you from Yahuwah the Father and Yahusha the Messiah, his Son. Hear, O Yisrael, Yahuwah, our mighty one, is one Yahuwah. This is Brother David coming to you again to bring you the laws, statutes, judgments, and commandments of Yahuwah. And there's his name right here in the Hebrew script. We're starting today from Deuteronomy chapter 11. If you need a screensaver for your computers, or if you want to have a picture on your wall, this is it. Put his name every place, in your house, even on your clothing. Show the world that you belong to Yahuwah. Let's begin. Deuteronomy chapter 11, verse 1 to 3. Just remember, the children of Israel are about to enter into the land. Verse 1. Therefore thou shalt love Yahuwah thy mighty one, and keep his charge, and his statutes, and his judgments, and his commandments, always. Every chapter has said the same thing, didn't it? This is how important it is to follow what the mighty one says, to walk in his ways. Verse 2. And know ye this day, for I speak not with your children which have not known, and which have not seen the chastisement of Yahuwah, your mighty one, his greatness, his mighty hand, and his stretched out arm. Verse 3. And his miracles and his acts, which he did in the midst of Egypt, unto Pharaoh the king of Egypt, and unto all his land. The children, or we, the descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, we did not see this. This is why we have to pass this down in an oral tradition from generation to generation, what the mighty one did in Egypt. Verse 4. And what he did unto the army of Egypt, and unto their horses, and to their chariots, how he made the water of the Reed Sea to overflow them as they pursued after you, and how Yahuwah hath destroyed them unto this day. Verse 5. And what he did unto you in the wilderness, until you came unto this place. Verse 6. And what he did unto Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, the son of Reuben, how the earth opened her mouth, and swallowed them up, and their households, and their tents, and all the substance that was in their possession, in the midst of all Yisrael. Check it. They were in the wilderness. Dathan and Abiram, they went against Moses. They went against Yahuwah. They were in the wilderness. This is what you should look at. The same thing that happened to Dathan and Abiram, the son of Reuben, the sons of Eliab, will happen to all of those who transgress the laws of Yahuwah. When he brings us back into the wilderness to plead with us, you shall see them swallowed up, and all of their substance. Verse 7. But your eyes have seen all the great acts of Yahuwah which he did, yet they still did not believe. Verse 8. Therefore you shall keep all the commandments which I command you this day. How many times is he going to say this? How can someone say that the laws, the statutes, and commandments are abolished when we've just gone through 6 chapters, and the only thing that he speaks about is his laws, statutes, and commandments? How he said that he's going to raise up another like unto Moses. Moses was a lawgiver. Yahusha is a lawgiver. Yet they say that the Messiah came to abolish the law? Let me say this again. Therefore shall ye keep all the commandments which I command ye this day. Look at what you'll get. That ye may be strong. You want to be strong? Keep his commandments. And go in and possess the land. You want to possess the land? Keep his commandments, whither ye go to possess it. Verse 9. And that ye may prolong your days. You want long life, eternal life? Keep his commandments, which Yahuwah sware unto your fathers to give unto them and to their seed a land that floweth with milk and honey. Listen what he sware to give. All of these things, the land, unto a seed, a bloodline. He's not going to give it to strangers. He's not going to give it to sojourners. The land is only to be given to the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and then it culminates to Jacob, whose name turned to Yazrael, and his seed, his children, took the covenant. Verse 10, for the land whither thou goest to possess it is not as the land of Egypt, from whence ye came out, where thou sowest thy seed, and waterest it with thy foot, as a garden of herbs. Now you're going to see what you're going to get, why this is so important, why everyone wants to take hold of the land. Verse 11, but the land whither ye go to possess it is a land of hills and valleys, and drinketh water of the rain of heaven. Yahuwah waters this land. It's not being watered now. You see, we have the infiltrators are still there, the ones who are posing to be us. I want you to go and do a little investigation, because remember, our Messiah is supposed to bring us into the promised land, and there we shall dwell safely. I want you to go on the internet and type in Israel and Iran. Watch what's going to come up. These guys are at war. Israel has declared war on Iran, and they've been fighting proxy wars all over the region. Now it's getting ready to become full-blown. Why am I telling you this? Because Yahuwah says when he brings us into the land, that his son, our Mashiach, is going to cleanse it first. You won't have any of this. All of our enemies will be destroyed that are in the land. We shall dwell safely. Are they dwelling safely over there? No, they're not. But they've created something in their mind with the technology that the United States has given them. They believe that they're dwelling safely. Verse 12, a land which Yahuwah thy mighty one careth for. Uh-oh. This is the only land that is spoken of that he cares for. The eyes of Yahuwah thy mighty one are always upon it. He's always watching over it from the beginning of the year even until the end of the year. That's where you want to be. Verse 13, and it shall come to pass, if ye shall hearken diligently unto my commandments, which I command ye this day, listen, not part-time, not playing with this, be diligent with his commandments, to love Yahuwah your mighty one, and to serve him with all your heart and with all your soul. Do you see this? Verse 14, that I will give you the rain of your land in his due season, the first rain and the latter rain, that thou mayest gather in thy corn and thy wine and thine oil. Verse 15, and I will send grass in thy fields for thy cattle, that thou mayest eat and be full. Even your animals will have an abundance. Verse 16. Take heed to yourselves, that your heart be not deceived, and ye turn aside and serve other gods and worship them. Why does he have to keep saying this? This is in our DNA, to go after other gods, to deceive ourselves into believing that there's another God that is more powerful than the mighty one of the heavens. Verse 17. And then Yahuwah's wrath be kindled against you, and he shut up the heaven, that there be no rain, and that the land yield not her fruit, unless ye perish quickly from off the good land which Yahuwah giveth you. This is the good land. It is contingent upon your performance. You have to love him with all your heart, your mind, and your soul. There's no reason for him to give you good things and you don't love him or are not obedient to him. Do you know that this is the reason why the children today are the way that they are? Because we give them good things that they don't deserve. They don't listen. They don't follow instructions. They talk back to you. They're stiff-necked. They're stubborn. They're unruly. And yet you buy them the best of technology. Verse 18. Therefore shall ye lay up these my words in your heart and in your soul, and bind them for a sign upon your hand, that they may be as frontlets between your eyes. You need to have this word inside of you. It's got to be a part of you. It is your first alert alarm system, this word. When it is in you and you're beginning to go into sin or transgression, the Spirit will speak and say, no, the law states that you cannot do this. Verse 19, and ye shall teach them your children, speaking of them when thou sittest in thy house, when thou walkest by the way, when thou liest down, and when thou risest up. You know, today, if you were to do this, and teach your children on a constant basis, they would probably think you're some kind of a crazy person, wouldn't they? You have to start them from young. It's hard when you get to this phase. You're just learning it. Now you want to teach them. They will reject this. I say to my wife always, that I wish I could have a child now, even though we really don't want one after seeing the resume of the ones that we have already. But I said it's because we did not teach them when they were small, because we did not know this. We taught them that Jesus stuff. Verse 20. And thou shalt write them upon the doorposts of thine house and upon thy gates. All you have to do is get a plaque of the 10 Commandments and put it by your front door. That is sufficient. Verse 21. That your days may be multiplied. When you keep these commandments, he will multiply your days. And the days of your children. You love your children? Teach them these commandments, that thy days may be long. In the land which Yahuwah, your mighty one, sware unto your fathers to give them, as the days of heaven upon the earth. Verse 22. For if ye shall diligently keep all these commandments which I command you to do them, to love Yahuwah, your mighty one, to walk in all his ways, and to cleave unto him. Key word, diligently, continually, with all your heart, mind, and soul. You have to hear them and do them And that is the love of Yahuwah, your mighty one. That's when you show you love him, by keeping these commandments. If you ever ask yourself, what can you do for the mighty one? If you keep these commandments, you show him that you love him. That's all he needs. He wants your heart, your mind, and your soul. Verse 23. Then will Yahuwah drive out all these nations from before you, and ye shall possess greater nations and mightier than yourselves. If you keep these commandments, brothers and sisters, you will be powerful. Verse 24. Every place wherein the soles of your feet shall tread shall be yours. From the wilderness of Lebanon, from the river Euphrates, even unto the uttermost sea shall be your coast. They left something out here. From the river of Egypt, or the Nile River. See, it says from the river of Euphrates. I wonder why they didn't put it here. Look at what the Father says for us. This is a vast land that he's going to give us. Not just that little area that you see that the Jews are occupying today, that they're calling Israel. He's talking about the whole region. That's what he promised to us. Verse 25. There shall no man be able to stand before you. If you keep these commandments, you shall be strong. For Yahuwah, your mighty one, shall lay the fear of you and the dread of you upon all the land that ye shall tread upon, as he have said unto you. You shall be dreadful. Just like they will fear our mighty one after he comes and lays waste to their cities, they shall fear you also, for they shall know that you are truly his children, if you keep these commandments. Verse 26, behold, I set before you this day a blessing and a curse. Behold, I set before you this day a choice. Verse 27, a blessing, if you obey the commandments of Yahuwah, your mighty one, which I command you this day. Every time you hear somebody tell me, oh, I'm blessed. No, they're not. If they're not obeying these commandments, they are lying to you. Verse 28, and a curse if you will not obey the commandments of Yahuwah, your mighty one. If they're not keeping the commandments, they are not blessed. They are cursed, and they don't even know it. But turn aside out of the way which I command ye this day, to go after other gods, which you have known. If you do this, he will destroy you. This is a part of our resume. This is why he constantly kept saying it over and over again, so that no one can say, he didn't tell us that. Yes, he did. Verse 29, and it shall come to pass, when Yahuwah thy mighty one have brought thee in unto the land whither thou goest to possess it, that thou shalt put the blessing upon Mount Gerizim and the curse upon Mount Ebal. I have to do some more research about this. This intrigued me. I want to know why he wanted us to put the blessing upon Mount Gerizim and then the curse on Mount Ebal. Verse 30. Are they not on the other side of Jordan, by the way where the sun goeth down, in the land of the Canaanites, which dwell in the campaign over against Gilgal, besides the plains of Moreh? You see my name there? I started a ministry maybe 30 years ago, and that's what I named it. And now I am the Moreh of Yazrael, which means teacher, or teacher teaching righteousness. The plains of Moreh, Just to give you a little history, the first place that Abraham came, when he came into the land, he came unto Shechem, the plain of Shechem, unto the great tree of Moreh. There he built an altar and began to call upon Yahuwah. There the Father gave him the blessing. He says, unto you and to your seed will I give the land. So this name was prophetic. Even when I was in the church, I was using these Hebrew terms and did not know how deep it really was. Verse 31, for ye shall pass over Jordan to go in to possess the land which Yahuwah your mighty one giveth you, and ye shall possess it and dwell therein. Verse 32, and ye shall observe to do all the statutes and judgments which I set before you this day. The only way that you can hold on to this covenant is by living according to his will. The Father has given us free will. He's given you a choice. That's what free will is, a choice. He says, I put before you today a blessing and a curse. Which one would you choose? The blessing is loving him with all your heart, mind, and soul, keeping all of his laws, statutes, commandments that he has commanded us to keep. The curse is to be rebellious, stiff-necked, stubborn, unbelieving, serving other gods. Most of us are going to be wiped out because we will stick to our resume. Come outside of this behavioral pattern of the Israelites and start keeping the Father's commandments. It is not evil. My wife and I are in more peace today than we've ever been in our whole life. Now it's just me and her. It is a wonderful thing to have peace. When you serve the Mighty One and you keep his commandments, he will give you the peace that surpasses all understanding. Continue to chapter 12. Shalom.